You are still with us on Economic Buzz. We still bring our discussion about business review and the outlook for gold and oil commodity, and still with Mr. Vicky Armanani. Continue about gold. You mentioned about the physical gold and online gold of trading. So which one is popular now, and which one is better to be done?
Okay, well, it depends what our objective is. Simply put, if you want to buy physical gold, you need to understand that's for more long-term investment. In fact, I would say at least 2 years and above. Why? Because the difference between the buying and the selling price is very wide. If you go to the Antham's website, www.logamulya.com, the buying and selling price can vary up to 35,000-40,000 per gram. I do understand from other shops that the spread can vary as low as 10,000-15,000 rupiah. But if you compare it to online trading, the spread is 160 rupiah per gram, or 50 cents per troy ounce.
Wow.
So the difference is huge. So what you need to understand is that if you want to take advantage of the momentum trading, that now that gold has had a good correction, you just want to look for a couple of percent move, that can only be done through online trading. The second benefit of online trading is that it's liquid. You can buy and sell anytime. The market's open 24 hours from Monday to Saturday. It's transparent, follows the local and international price. There's a two-way opportunity because there's no asset that just goes up like a line, whether it's property, gold, oil. There's always corrections because there's profit taking and other news factors that, technical factors that take place as well. So this way people can take advantage of selling gold as well as buying. Whereas in physical, you can only take advantage of buying and hold on. And maybe the other thing is that capital investment, because the gold price has soared up so high, the people actually requiring 100% investment or 100% equity to buy the gold is very, very high. Whereas people know the gold price won't become zero. For it to become half is highly unlikely. I mean, I would say impossible. But to become double is very likely. So from that perspective, people get attracted towards online trading, traded with smaller margins. But of course, you have to manage your risk as well. And that makes it attractive for a lot of investors and traders to start moving into online trading, especially with conventional businesses. They're getting more and more difficult. Expenses are rising, margins are reducing, so that's getting a lot of people attracted towards online trading.
So talking about this online trading, it's like now threatening, I mean, as a competitor of the physical traders of gold. How do you see this, like the physical traders of gold also moving now to the online trading? Or
well, it depends. Again, it depends what the purpose is. But the trend is that they're switching on because they're switching to online trading because they can buy more gold. Yes, although some people tell me that, but online trading, you don't actually physically own the gold. You have to understand that. But it doesn't matter. The whole world is buying. I mean, the volume of these online products have become 4 trillion a day. It's completely legal. There's no issue with that. So yeah, it depends again what your purpose is. But let's say if you want to buy it for your kids, for your next generations, go ahead, buy physical gold. But make sure you don't buy jewelry. You have to buy gold bars or coins, because in jewelry you lose a lot of money in the design. If you buy an Italian design and then you want to sell it, it's as good as they melt the gold and whatever the value is. But when you bought it, you paid a high fee for the design. So that's not a wise
there's additional
investment.
cost for the design, right, in jewelry.
It's nice to show off, but not a good investment.
Okay, nice to show off. That's not wise option. Now back again about the oil, subsidized fuel, subsidized oil in Indonesia become a concern that maybe affect the foreign direct investment coming to Indonesia. How do you see this? Maybe to fix the economic conducive situation in 2013. Any suggestion to our government according to this?
Yes, I mean, firstly, actually subsidized economy is beneficial for businesses because, every business needs, fuel is a very important factor of their cost. And the fact that it's subsidized is beneficial for companies, but it is not good for the economy. I mean, now Indonesia is coming to a deficit, right? Indonesia is running into a deficit of about 2.3% of GDP. For the time being, they're fine. They're saying that they will raise more bonds in the market, issue more bonds in the market, and they will raise enough money to cover up that concern. But in the future, Indonesia is a developing nation. If it wants to grow, it needs to come out of the subsidy. I mean, the subsidy is too big and taking a large portion of the government's income. I mean, deficit is how much the government earns and how much it spends. But the main factor is the fuel, which brings it under a deficit. So it's important to rise it, but don't give them a shock. Progressively rise. Like last time, I mean, this is my personal view, but when you want to raise it, you raise it, let's say, by 1,000 rupiah, progressively, couple of months, raise it again. That way people don't feel the pinch, you don't get shocked. And then eventually the economy will improve because there's urbanization, people are earning more income, the income per capita is improving. So that's the way I would go, basically.
Now talking about CPO as the biggest commodity from Indonesia. CPO during 2012, seeing the lowest level. I mean, it's not really good during 2012. Your prediction, because there is a prediction also in the middle of 2013, the price will increase. So, any opinion about this?
I don't follow crude palm oil intensively, but yes, I have read. I mean, everything utilizes crude palm oil, and at these levels, despite not following it completely, it is very, very attractive. And I'm positive that it would be a positive, it would be a good rise, yeah, because the demand for CPO is intensively increasing. It's just sometimes maybe the product has not got enough attention.
So it's still also until 2013. The
Yeah.
CPO
Oh, no, I see them to break new levels,
Okay.
to go up higher. But yeah, again, you know, risk to reward, manager levels, and you have to understand whether you're a trader or investor, because there's a big difference between a trader and investor. And you can take an example of a house.
Okay.
An investor who buys a house will give it for rent and earn money from that. But for example, a trader, he'll buy a house and immediately want to sell it for a profit. I mean, the reason why he buys is because it's undervalued. So that's the difference between an investor and trader.
It is.
So you got to choose your approach, allocate the right capital, and make sure you have the right trading strategy, right trading plan, and then you're good to go.
Okay, interesting. We'll continue about the forecast in 2013 completely, Mr. Fikri. Economic Buzz will be back soon with more view from Mr. Fikri Armanani, market strategist from Monex Invest in the Futures.